Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
A tree has roots
True. Facts.
that dig deep in the earth.
Yeah, the roots hold you down.
This stabilizes the tree.
Yeah, man.
And it also is how the tree gets its energy and its life and its nutrition.
Yeah, man. Facts. Yeah, those roots.
From the earth.
Yeah, that's real. That's real.
From Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yeah, those grounded in truth are connected to their roots. Yeah, know where you came from, to know who you are. That's why the Salaf is important to us. Yeah, that's real. That's real. Facts.
Building has a foundation and a base structure that it's built off of. And if it's weak, the building will be weak. And if it's strong, then the rest of the building can be built on something that's strong.
That is true.
And depending how well those other parts and components are put in place and maintained, that structure will last.
You better believe it.
But most of that depends on the foundation.
Aha, yeah, I can dig that. That is true.
When it comes to love, the foundation should be built on something that is
Official. The real deal. Solid.
as strong as you want that love to be.
The real deal.
And when it comes to family, some things are
Priceless. Irreplaceable. I know that's right.
put in place by Allah, and they're not something that we need to work to keep intact. As in, your mother is your mother.
Irreplaceable.
You don't control changing or making that. Your father's your father.
True. Facts.
Brothers and sisters,
Priceless. Irreplaceable.
etc.
You better believe it.
However, how those relationships are maintained does take some effort on the person. And it does take some effort and energy in the actions that are done to develop and maintain those bonds and those relationships. You don't establish the bond, but you do need to put your time and energy into maintaining it, making it be what it's going to be. Some of us, or at least myself, grew in a way that was or is terrible at the constant communication and check-up phone calls and reaching out. But however, this didn't necessarily and doesn't necessarily break the bond that, number one, has been established by Allah, but on the other side is also something that is a part of the maintenance that is needed. Because the family grew to understand that this was the relationship. Even though it's not ideal as in the minds of others, and definitely not ideal in the likes of television and TV land and movies and things like this. It is, however, what and how our family is our family. And if I am, or probably no ifs, I am the black sheep, still I'm a part of the family and accepted in the positions that I've taken and roles that I've played when I did and when I do play my part in the family as a collective unit.
Yes, yeah, he's a part of us, just apart from us.
But now I have my own family.
Work.
And some of those ways can be
Work.
challenging in terms of this is a chosen link between the husband and the wife. This is a chosen bond. And we've agreed to come to this union. Now, that agreement is done under the guidance of Islam, and thus is also something that is in a way established by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the choices and the selecting of the spouse and the living conditions and the efforts that go in to maintaining the home and maintaining the bond are some things that we need to play our part in, on my end and on hers.
Do what you gotta do, not just stuff.
And this takes some struggle.
Work to be your best.
And so in this foundation, it's very important that the love is something that is built in and built on, as we said, something that is
solid,
made to last. And there's nothing more secure in this regard than Allah.
Allahu Akbar.
There's nothing more definite to be established than His guidance
Siratul Mustaqim.
and the things He has made permissible, and staying away from the things that He's forbidden.
Take the halal, leave the haram, do good and get good.
And when and if a person does that, then the marriage will and can thrive. And the seeds that are planted grow and blossom.
I know that's right. Yeah, buddy, that's so true.
And when a person or when two people neglect this importance,
Oh no.
then there's issues that arise in the home that they can't get past. Or there's issues that arise in the home that defeat them
Problem. Mushkila.
and defeat their said to be objective of establishing a family.
Going against the grain.
Now, when I use establishing a family here, I mean the bond that the individuals come together to make and grow into productive things and productive people in life and move on to be more children and more generations.
The real.
And I don't mean a bunch of family members who come together and each have the titles but are not playing the position to the point where at least in the Western countries, the external
Dictators, foster care, counselor, social worker, shrink, nosy neighbors, them people.
powers that be, like the governments, can come and take children because there's abuse, or there's a counselor who has more influence in the mind of the wife or the husband than the two do on each other.
That's what the studies say.
So the one person is playing out
Statistics say.
the recommendations of a counselor without the actual
Priceless, irreplaceable, person's personality,
interest in
human manual.
what is coming from their heart or what is actually taken in from the heart of the spouse.
Person's personality.
So the two-way street becomes three-way traffic, and in many cases a traffic jam of ideas and statements and emotions.
For sure, definitely.
Because there's internal and external influences, and there's no balance in stability.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم هو الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وجعل منها زوجها ليسكن إليها.
Pay attention. Try to think about it. Think about it. Think. Just think about it.
Men and women have different approaches to many things in many aspects, and this difference is important because it creates a balance that grows individuals to peaks of character, and it creates a balance of understanding, of sensitivity, and
Madness. Don't be a punk.
I don't want to say testosterone, but
Don't be a soft batch cookie. Work.
drive, and a balance of emotions and intellect, and a balance of
You and me, he and she.
Oh,
a balance.
you mean
normal,
creative,
and crazy.
Oh,
no, not like that.
Well, then,
just
what kind of balance?
A balance of what? A balance of what?
Mercy and justice.
Yeah. All right.
And when this balance is not taken into consideration and these roles are not both appreciated, then this is where you will find the extremes on one side or the other. If you have one too much and one or the other non-existent, or the other one is deficient, then you have a house that is so emotional that issues are not addressed, and there's so much confusion and so much
Crying all the time. All complaining. Yak.
drive in nonsense that there's nothing productive taking place.
That's extreme. Too much just saying stuff. Blocked doing good with feelings.
And on the other end, if you have too much
Shut up, my
Sit
house,
down.
because I said
Hey,
so.
look.
I'm the man around here.
Your way is doing what I say.
authority without any mercy and any compassion,
That's extreme. Too much of being too tough. Pull apart with power. Part of the family. Your heart. Your half. That's your baby. That's your family.
then there's, in many cases, abuse that can develop and hurt that can traumatize either those going through it or those witnessing.
Yes, so true.
So both roles play a part,
Yes, needs to be a balance. Right on, brother.
and both understandings are crucial
I know that's better believe it.
in the aspects of the home, of the family.
Work to be your best.
It's Linda.
For sure. Definitely.
And I understand that there are some times where one partner will need to overstep their limits to play some of the role of the other side.
I can't cook. Mommy's work.
But-
Daddy's clean the house.
Say what?
When this is done too much,
Again.
Cereal.
then it can become
Again.
Grilled cheese sandwiches.
stressful on the one that is overexerting, and frustration can develop, but also confusion can enter the minds of the children as to where they grow thinking that the role of one should be played by the other.
My mama pays the bills. My daddy's baby. My mom fights the bad guys. Me and my daddy go and hide.
And when that extra exerter is out of the picture, then it's normal and it's okay to have the home deficient in these needed characteristics. And this is very wrong,
I know that's so,
but definitely
and it can be very damaging
going against the grain.
to the children and to the family unit.
Yeah,
I can see that. No doubt, bro.
Against the grain.
So we said before that guidance is a gift that the blessed get and give. And we've said this many times, and we will say it many more. But the reason I repeat it now is because it's important for this aspect of what we want to consider an emotion. Love is more than just a word that we should throw around, and more than just something that we should claim is experienced through the emotions and act as if it's not something that is connected to the actions, and something that is something that is connected to the foundation, which is the belief and the connection to Allah.
You better believe it.
Because without that established, concrete, unbreakable, unshakable foundation, the love won't be stable.
Built in strength to live in strength.
Thus, the home won't be stable.
If not, then not.
And things will either be shaky enough that they break, or weak in ways that can't be properly developed.
Make to last or be a wasted task. Holds what and how you hold on to. Holds what and how you hold on to.
So as I advise myself and try to share some of my thoughts with you guys, I hope it assists in choosing your spouse, keeping your spouse.
Work, do good to get good, man.
Beef is Linda.
and establishing your family
بقدر
in the
الله.
ways that believers strive for.
والسلام على من اتبع الهدى.
No. And of course, anything that I've said is correct is from Allah.
Allahu Akbar.
And anything that I've said that is incorrect is from myself and from influences of the shaitan.
نعوذ بالله من ذلك.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.